Hey, welcome to another episode of the Gen X Guys with JD and Len.
No intro.
No intro. No
No intro. Just fucking
traditional
straight
intro
into it.
that way. Look.
Just fucking barreling right in. Now play it. Play it now. Play it now after the fact. Do it again like
No. I'm going to put an intro
again, just like you did
before we
last
even start. So for those listening, you probably already heard the intro, but I'm going to put it
No,
in
you
there.
didn't.
It just isn't now.
Yeah, but the timing's off now.
Get closer to your mic. Get closer to your mic. Get a little closer to your mic.
No.
Turn your mic pickup up. Maybe the decibels down.
Maybe the decibels down. How's that?
No, it's about the same. Anyway, so
Damn it. Go ahead. Just talk. I don't care. I'll just sit like really close to it and talk like this.
Jesus, let's not go crazy. So how was your Thanksgiving? I mean, we already kind of touched base on it.
We talked about it off, but yeah, no, my family, we do what we nobody likes turkey or ham. Yeah, especially turkey. Turkey is just, and it's not worth the effort you have to put into it for what you get from it. So years ago, we decided to do basically like a potluck, which is more like everybody gets to pick one thing that they want. And it can be anything. Like, especially when the kids were younger, it was great because they didn't have to have any vegetables. They could pick whatever they wanted. So it's just a bunch of different entrees with maybe like a side or two that they really liked. So we've kind of continued that on. And so like we had like prime rib, mac and cheese, and just a bunch of other random things that everybody wanted. Crab, just a variety of things. So
nice.
Yeah,
does everybody bring their own, or you?
No, we still make it. Oh, it's more just for my house. My brother was over. My younger brother Danny was over for it, but yeah, it's mainly just my house. So, but yeah, we started cooking the day before. So some of the stuff like there's a Filipino dish called adobo that we made the day before that keeps really well. So some stuff like you can start preparing the day before, and then you cook on the day of. So
yeah,
but yeah, no, it was good. We still have leftovers, so everybody's happy.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, most of the day, just doing stuff around the house, probably decorating the outside of the house. Yeah. Start doing that. But no, for dinner, the kids came over. We went and got turkey, but this time, I'm not much of a turkey person either, so I generally don't care. I usually make prime rib and other stuff. But this time, we decided to try something different. Local to us is this barbecue place, which is really good. And they were offering a Thanksgiving Day sort of specialty meal you could pre-buy. And so we're like, yeah, that'd be cool. Instead of having to cook, let's just do that. So it was a turkey. You get your turkey, barbecue turkey, basically, which was nice. You get
like
corn
it better than a traditional?
It's different. I mean, traditionals, depending on how well you cook them, could be really moist. They could be dry. Yeah. This was a bit dry. So, I mean, it was barbecued, so I'm not expecting it to be like super moist, especially when they're mass producing these things.
Right.
But yeah, we got that. And then we got a mix of we get some barbecue chicken in there. We also grabbed some not steaks. I don't know, brisket. There we go. Briskets as well. And the corn on the cob. Just slightly, definitely different than a traditional Thanksgiving. But after doing that for decades, I'm okay with no longer doing that anymore. Because obviously back in the day with the family around and whatnot, my mom would always do a turkey. My grandmother's house would always do a turkey, things like that. So get turkeyed out. Turkey twice within like that, a big party.
And then you always have leftovers because there's so much of it.
That is true.
The one thing I have wanted to try, I just haven't committed to it, is how they deep fry turkey. Where they do the dunk in turkey and just fucking just completely. I wanted to try that because I heard that's actually pretty good. Of course, I'm afraid I'm going to burn the house down because I'm sure you've seen.
I definitely want someone to videotape when this happens so I can relive the magic over and over again.
Right. But yeah, we wanted to do that, but it's just one of those things where it's just not that important. Because you have to buy the whole setup. You have to buy the canister and the oil and everything. It's just not that important. I'd rather do just straight up old school prime rib.
Well, but if you wanted to go back to trying turkey, then the deep fry.
I would try that, because again, people say that it's actually, it keeps the moisture. It has the crispy ends. It has all the good stuff. So,
How long
Yeah,
does
I
it
even saw.
stay in there? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Like,
sure it
is
still
it?
takes a while to cook because it's so it needs to, it still needs to permeate all the way through. But it
Yeah.
does immerse it, so I'm assuming that all the oil goes into the cavity to cook it. So it probably is I'm assuming it's quicker than an oven.
I would
But
think so. Yeah.
yeah,
Just based on, well, I mean, I haven't really watched videos on how to cook with that. I've seen the videos where people
I've just
fuck it
seen
up all the
accidents.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Where
Yeah.
it's still
People,
frozen on the inside.
yeah. Or they drop it, the thing falls down and fire and just shoots
Yeah.
everywhere. So,
Yeah, because they didn't estimate because like you're supposed to put water in it first, then dunk the turkey so you know how much oil to put in. And they
Yeah.
don't do that. They just put in X amount of oil and then it spills over. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm assuming that I'd probably be one of those. So yeah, like you said, taking a video of it would be interesting for me.
Yeah. Well, actually, live streaming it would be even better.
No, because if we're doing a live stream, I'd actually take my time and do it right. If I was being flippant about it, then I would make a mistake.
No one has to tell you it's going to be live streamed. I mean, I can go on Instagram and live stream right there,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
YouTube
I mean,
and just live
I think
stream
even
from
if
your
it's
phone.
videoed, I'm going to be a little more cautious than I normally would. I don't know. I've seen
Okay,
those
so
videos.
then what you're telling me is to get the full 100% unfiltered you,
Yep.
no one should tell you they're videotaping you.
Pretty much. Yeah, but even then, I mean, I do stupid things, but when you see those videos, having boiling oil spray all over the place it's something that actually even scares me. That's one of those
Well, if
ones
it
where
hits you in the face, that'll hurt you.
or somebody, even worse, somebody else.
Well, yeah, hurting someone else is more the
I get
concern than myself. Yeah, I get what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah. Even with 4th of July, it's usually I only feel bad if I almost take somebody else out.
Yeah,
If I
there
get
you go.
hurt, and it's just part of the adventure of 4th of July.
It's just who you are.
It's just who I am. But I do realize now that like I would say Thanksgiving and 4th of July are my two favorite holidays.
Oh, that's good.
I think how
Two
we do
totally different ones, but I get it.
yeah. I think Thanksgiving just because of how we do it. It's not the pageantry.
Well, how do you do
or
Christmas?
I don't know.
Is it
Christmas,
any different than Thanksgiving? I mean, do you still do more of a potluck type setup?
we still do more of a potluck. I just think that it's different on Thanksgiving because that's like the central theme. Is just I think it's more not the food; it's more the gathering. It's like we're waiting for this central time. And Christmas, I think, is as our kids have gotten older, like it just Christmas has kind of I don't want to say evolved, but it's just changed. It's not the same as it used to be. I mean, obviously, and you have a different one because it's on your birthday, but I think for Thanksgiving, it's now with the kids being older. Like my youngest, he really helps with cooking, so there's that added aspect of it. So
Right.
I think for me, Thanksgiving is just kind of taking Christmas over in terms of the whole overall aspect, that I prefer.
Do you
I
pray
mean,
before dinner?
it's the only time we do now.
Oh,
We
you,
used to
you
all the
do?
time.
Okay. I was
We do.
actually just
We
joking,
do
but
now.
I could see the family wanting it. You could care less, but I know the rest of the family cares.
Well, I care because they care. That's why.
Right. So you could care less,
Well,
but only because
we
they do it.
I think it's also tradition, but also my in-laws are devout Catholics, so there's that part we're doing it out of respect for them. But I think it's also part of that tradition to be thankful.
Yeah.
And of course, you go around and ask her, "What are you thankful for the last year?" And there's always references to Fast and the Furious and things like that. But we'll throw some serious stuff here and there. Thankful for fast cars.
Nice.
All that type of stuff.
Very
Yeah,
nice. Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
isn't it though?
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
It really is.
So it's interesting. I was, with everything that's going on, the holidays now back in, I saw something somewhere about, how things were in the past, obviously for us back in the days. Like, and a lot of it's missing today. Like today, like we kind of hit on this last week or the week before, but this is more around like kids today don't really understand Christmas in the mall. I mean, a good visual of it is A Christmas Story, right? The movie A Christmas Story. Like when they travel into like a Macy's or a JCPenney's or whatever it is, right? It's a big department store they traveled into. They got it decorated up, which was always the case. In, Macy's or JCPenney, they'd have an area which was decorated up. The mall itself was always decorated up. You'd have
There's always
Santa
the center
there.
of the mall. Like for
Yeah.
our mall, there was a traditional big fountain in the middle of the mall, and they would cover that up and put the big tree over on that platform, and then of course have all the decorations.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of that's gone now. Like, I mean, Black Friday aside, the shopping's different. I mean, it's not actually bad that there's you can buy online now because it relieves a lot of the stress
Yeah.
inside. But there's still a lot of people who show up to these places, to the malls, the stores, and whatnot the next day after Thanksgiving. But it's more about the ambiance is gone, I guess. The feeling of going somewhere and really being entrenched in Christmas is kind of gone, at least for me.
What I find interesting is, especially having visited different countries, is honestly a lot of it is an American phenomenon. I mean, first of all, like if you just look at Asia in general, malls thrive out there. They're enormous, always packed and everything. But like because of the countries I visited, I still see clips of people who visit them on different social media things, like like either Korea or Philippines, whatever. But they have like those decorations that we grew up with in their malls, in their outdoor areas, in a lot of these things, like the things like you said, like the Christmas stories, the things that we remember from the 80s and still even in the 90s and early 2000s, um, still go on out there. I mean, we can like Philippines is fanatical when it comes to Christmas. Like they start Christmas before Halloween. It's like October 1st, Christmas decorations are going up. So they're on a different level. But even for a place like Korea, I've seen a bunch of things where like their malls are completely done up in the way that we're used to.
Right.
Um, it's just funny though how much I think it's centered around malls. Of course, there's the shopping aspect of it, why they want to why they want to draw people in there, of course, is for shopping. But it's just I mean, that's just what it was. It was the shopping areas were the ones that highlighted it the most, again, for obvious reasons. But
Right.
it's just a stark difference is people say that, you look at it as very America centric, like, oh, well, malls aren't relevant anymore. It's like, oh, malls here aren't relevant, which we've talked about in the past. I brought up the whole idea of third spaces. But yeah, it's just interesting because other countries still do it. It's just interesting that here in the US, it's like you said, it's pretty much dead. It's pretty much non-existent anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I'd say the concept of malls originated out of the U.S. initially, anyway.
Probably,
And
yeah, the whole indoor mall, yeah.
over time, other countries have adopted that structure. To your
Yeah.
point, and for them, maybe it's still a great place to be, and maybe over time it'll change and it'll go away as well. Um, but you bring up an interesting point because you talk about Asia specifically, like the Asian
Mhm.
countries you've been to and how they handle it. If you think about out in California, for those who aren't aware, there's Ceremony Mall, and that one's still thriving. And that's thriving primarily because
The
of the
Asian
Asian market around it.
Yeah.
For them, and a lot of the stores have changed over decades, but it's
Oh,
more
yeah.
Asian based, at least from a lot more food and eatery has become more
Yeah.
Asian focused.
Right,
I mean,
right,
you
right.
remember the Hofbrau dude?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Like that's gone, but that's
Oh, yeah.
understand. You start to think back on some of the stuff we had back in the 80s, 90s, whatever, even
Mhm.
the early 2000s. It's been a change. But yeah, to your point, like one mall out there in the Bay is closing because although it always struggled for decades, to be honest with you, it was never quite as good as it was probably back in the late
80s,
80s, early
you're talking
90s.
about Tanforan and
Tanforan
stuff.
Mall, yeah.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
struggled. And maybe it's just
But
the area it's at.
but in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't like that. I mean, its drop off was pretty dramatic from what I mean, I remember being in that mall and I thought it was I mean, I remember when we were in high school, there was that reports that at that time, Ceremony Mall was the highest grossing revenue per square foot in the US.
Yes.
There was this whole thing because, not there were bigger malls that took in more money, whatever, but in terms of square footage, for the size of the mall, like, I remember and this was, so this was late '80s, early '90s when we were working there, so but like you said, that mall continued to thrive. I don't remember I mean, there was a little bit of a drop off, I remember, like, late 2000, but it seemed like you said, as they started to reimagine the mall and kinda reconfigure it and new stores came in, it started like you said, in the last 10 years, it's just fucking exploded again.
Right.
The one that we're talking about in San Bruno, it's actually right by where Walmart is located, and it's right next to YouTube's campus, like because that's where Walmart is as well. Um, but they're actually redoing it to be a pharmaceutical and like that type of campus. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they sold it off
really
a while ago.
but yeah, I mean, I remember going down because that one had this theater that I think in the '90s it was one of the dollar movie ones. You know, for some reason,
For a period of time, yeah, you're right. It switched
yeah,
over.
switched over. But it's funny because when and being there's a new season coming out, which I kind of have to rewatch season 3, but there's Stranger Things.
You mean
And for
season 5 is coming out, and
season
you need
5,
to
yeah, you're
rewatch
right.
season 4?
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
season 5's already out. The first
It is
4
already out.
episodes dropped. Yeah, already watched them all.
But the point is like when I saw some of the things in Stranger Things, Tanforan is the mall that I thought of because it's still
For the
even in
mall
the
they were
80s.
in.
Yeah, because even in the '80s, it felt old in the '80s. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It never felt new to me. Like Ceremony was always bright, clean, kind of more of a modern-ish type look, but Tanforan just had that feel of Stranger Things. Like because the coolest part was the theater was on the first floor, was on the ground floor, I guess you would say,
Yep.
but you would enter it from the second floor. So you'd have to enter from the second floor and then go down an escalator to where the theater was. The funny part is that there was this opening above where the concession area was where you can look down. And I don't know why, but like when I started watching Stranger Things, that's what I remember. I remember hanging out on the second floor on the rail, looking down at the people going to see movies, like trying to figure out what they're going to watch or whatever.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it was just funny because it was just a very different type of experience. But yeah, that mall always felt old. That definitely like feels like the traditional '80s mall to me more than. And I have some bad news about the mall. Actually, I forgot I wanted to share to our larger group of friends who we used to go there. Cold Stone closed.
Oh, that's
So a
horrible.
little
Wait,
backstory.
I'm surprised it was still there. I thought most of that food court was gone.
About half the food court is gone.
I mean, Jollibee's probably still there, right?
Nope, that's gone.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah, I know. I never went to Jollibee's. I don't know. I go for the chicken, but yeah, but the spaghetti was the one that always would throw me off. But
Spaghetti with sugar, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just no, I can't do it. But yeah, the Cold Stone, we had a friend who would always not always go to the Cold Stone, but yeah, we always somehow forced him to go to Cold Stone.
And get a shake that he didn't want.
It was our fault that he didn't want, but he always got it. Like almost every time we went there.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. Yeah. By the way, for Thanksgiving itself, they have the parade, right? Do you even watch the parade? When was the last time you actually really cared enough to watch the Macy's Day Parade? I mean, that's been going on forever. I mean, obviously, I think it started even before we were around.
My wife and I just talked about that yesterday. Like I brought it up. I said, she used to watch it as a kid, but I think maybe it's just having a house full of boys. It's just something that we never did.
So you never exposed them to the Macy's Day Parade?
Not really. I mean, we had it on. They just didn't care.
No, unless I mean, I think most kids don't care. To be honest with you, unless there's something that's relevant to them, that like the character balloons, sure. But how often did those show up? A lot of it was always bands.
You're not going to sit there and wait for it,
right?
Yeah, but I think that was the whole thing. They would just start playing a video game or something like that, and just tune it out.
Yeah,
it was never something that was big with my family. Like
it's basically 100 years old. That parade. It's still going.
And it's still an interesting thing. I mean, it's still a branding thing for companies, and then it's like you said, it's a showcase for different high school bands and things. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's something that we never got into.
Yeah, the point I bring it up is because you think about the evolution of the parade. I mean, it shows up on 3 different channels. They all show it, but they all show it at different times because there's usually Thursday football. Whoever's got the 10 a.m. game, 10 a.m. for West Coast, more like 1 for East. But since the parade itself, sometimes the parades start on the East Coast. Is it like 11?
know. That's a good question.
11 or noon, somewhere around.
Right.
I think it's noon. I want to say noon. I could be wrong. For any of those listening who want to correct me, feel free to throw a comment in. But that being said, it's like football starts, and so like CBS won't show it, but they'll air it later on.
Right.
Say it's CBS in this case, and then of course the other two will show it early on, so you can watch between the two and see what the differences are. Not that I've done that ever, but I'm sure you could to see if there's differences. But I guess my point is like it's a mainstay, right? Like this is something that's just tradition. Like NFL football on Thursdays or Thanksgiving is tradition. It's the Cowboys and the Lions are tradition. They're always there playing. But it just hasn't changed much, I guess, which is sometimes good because you can kind of get a sense of how things have always played out.
Yeah.
Which kind of is a history tie back to some degree.
Right.
And you know, everything's changed over time. Balloons have changed and whatnot, but
right, of course.
Still, you know, I did catch it. I saw, you know, they try to make the popular stuff pop on there too. Like, what was it? K-pop Demon Hunters, that group, Huntrix, right? Yeah,
Huntrix, yeah.
They were on, so they did their song.
Right.
I mean, it's all lip synced.
It's yeah, out there. It's definitely going to be.
They don't give them the opportunity to sling really live. At least I don't think so.
That one you can understand why. It's outdoor. You just, I mean, it's too many variables for something like that. You're also on a moving platform. You know, you have to kind of worry about.
Well, no, this is where they stopped in front of Macy's and did the song.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. They weren't moving on a platform. They came out and sang at that point. So they're on the street singing. The key issue is I don't think a lot of times they let them sing live because if it's raining and wet.
Yeah, of course.
They don't want them holding anything that's hot, basically.
Yeah.
But who knows? Could be wrong. But you know,
it's also a production. It's not meant to be a concert or whatever. It's supposed to be, you know, like just supposed to be this presentation that they're doing almost. So it's not like supposed to be a performance as much as it is as, you know, just, oh, here they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different type of feel.
Yeah. So
we watch football.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on. I don't even necessarily watch the game fully unless I'm invested in the game itself. Yeah. But I'll have it on because it's almost like it's just natural to have the games playing. So I can keep an eye on them. Like the games, it's funny. Of the 3 games that happened, since we're talking about Thanksgiving, let's jump into football. Of the 3 games that happened, you had only one home team win, the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Which they looked pretty good. I mean, it's funny. People were like, oh, they're on a hot streak. Okay, they won 2 in a row. Look, I'm a Cowboy fan. But even I know the Chiefs are about average, slightly above. So it wasn't totally shocking that we could beat them.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs have been a 500 team this year. That is what they are.
They were last year, too. I mean, people act like, you know, they went to the Super Bowl, but I think
they weren't a 500 team last year. They were much better off record-wise.
They were much better, but they were also – it's one of those years. I think maybe I might be mixing up the Chiefs and the Eagles, but they were talking about this year they're losing those one-score games, where last year they were winning them. And it's just – I think that's what – when I say a 500 team, I mean, you know, the 500 – there's a lot more 500 teams than – you know, people always just, oh, look at the record. It's like – but – especially when you're looking at things. So
you're saying like, average team, not necessarily record.
Maybe that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. More like
you keep saying 500, then that's pretty straight math, dude. It's like they're 4-4, 8-8.
Right. I think there's a connotation that a lot of people would understand if they just listen instead of.
Look, I don't think people understand. Right? I'm trying to make it easier. Stop using shit that doesn't make sense. Just say they're an average team who somehow got lucky in one of those games.
Team is implying that they're average. All right, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You disagree with me, but fuck you.
I do disagree with you. I just said that
they're an average team. Yeah, and I think that they are an average team. And I think it showed yesterday. I think a lot of those they just don't have that ability to, like before. If you were up by 10 points on the Chiefs going into the fourth quarter, you were nervous because they could score 14 like in a heartbeat, and their defense was good enough to do a stop here and there to give their offense that chance. I don't think their defense is like that anymore at all. I don't think their defense has been like that for a while. And their offense definitely just doesn't have that. I mean, Mahomes did a Mahomes thing yesterday that was pretty phenomenal. Like there was that one where he scrambled out, he was falling, he stayed up and he just launched it in the middle of the field.
Yep.
It was like a 40-yard catch. And, he still can do that. I still think Mahomes, with regards to the record or whatever, is still, I think, arguably a top 3 quarterback in the league. Like, he's still Mahomes.
I will say this about the Chiefs with Mahomes specifically, and that was a crazy play, by the way, because he got tripped up, almost fell, stayed up, fired that thing. To your point, that was a nice pass.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's no question. That was just, he is.
I will say this about Mahomes this year, and the Chiefs in general. The reason why they're 500 is because the receiving core just can't catch a ball, and that includes Kelce. And that's
Kelsey's at that age, though. Kelsey's getting older.
Sure, but I mean, even still. And yes, in that game against the Cowboys, luckily there were opportunities where they were hit straight in the hand and they just kept dropping the ball. Okay. Again, that's tough for a quarterback, and Mahomes been around long enough. Like, he's not going to get pissy about it, at least to them on TV. But
right,
it's like those little things. To your point, those are the little things that they're just not doing.
Yeah,
like they did last year, they were able to pull those off. It's like the Eagles. Which actually, I laugh because the Eagle game as well, which was yesterday against the Bears, where they got beat down by the Bears of all teams, who aren't looking too bad. But
they actually look pretty good. But again, they're an average team that are doing the right things. Like, they don't make those. Like, they're that team where it can swing either way. Because the thing is, it's not that they have to have a good or bad game, but if they just have an average game, they'll lose. But I guess I thought that they played a good game.
Well, and you bring up that point because that they are like the epitome of average when it comes to offense defense. Like, their scoring, I before this game, I think their point differential, which any team that's 8-3 should be like plus 20. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah.
But Chicago is like, I think, -2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they've lost a few games badly. The games that they did lose, they lost them badly. And the games they win have always been like really close. So to your point, they're doing the little things just enough to win, which is all you can ask for in a lot of cases, because it's the NFL. A lot of these games are going to come down to close games. Can you make, this when you have to? Can you pull it off when you have to? Because right now the Bears are a +6 on differential. Now, keep in mind, they won by what? 10? 12? Yeah. So, like I said, they were like minus, which is impressive. I've never seen that. Or maybe I've never really paid attention, but I've never seen a team that was 8-3 with a negative point differential this late in the season.
I think the NFL, I mean, this year has probably been one of the best definitions of parity, though. But one thing I wanted to ask was, with the Browns last week, with Shedeur starting, he won, even though he played decent as a quarterback. I mean, he wasn't anything special, but he played well. I mean, and that's about as much as I'll say. I don't. But again, I look at him as he's a rookie, his first start. They didn't really go all out with him, which I had no problem with, and he did just well enough because he was only 11 for 20, a touchdown and an interception. It was.
And the touchdown was a screen pass that the running back took off and got it out there.
Right. So. And so I'm not – people are saying, oh, we found the franchise quarterback just because he won, because he did something.
By the way, you fucking fans of the Browns are delusional as shit. You guys are so delusional. The diehards are delusional shit. I mean, most NFL fans who are diehards are.
It's really hard right now. It's really hard right now because you don't know who's a Browns fan and who's a Shedeur fan.
Because that's a good point. Yeah, good point.
When Mayfield came to the Browns, we also inherited a lot of Oklahoma fans. So you could see that they would all of a sudden put Boomer Sooner at the end. You're like, yeah, fuck you then. It was always that type of thing. Where it's like you read what they're saying, and then you're like,
I know you're an Ohio State fan. That's upsetting too.
The flag thing actually made me laugh when he did it. I still wanted to draft him after even the flag was planted. But anyway, but aside from that, there was a thing, and of course, it's because you hear the betting now, is that with about a minute left in the game, Browns are up by 2 touchdowns. We punted on their 32-yard line. I think it was 32-yard line.
I know. I missed that. My chiropractor is a diehard Brown fan. He comes from Ohio as well.
Yeah.
Told me about that. I'm like, I must have turned it off by then. I didn't pay attention.
But we punted it our punter. First of all, we have a great punter. So our punter angled it, went straight out of bounds at the 10, no chance to return. Put him at
You
the
punted
10.
it from the Raiders 32, right?
Yes. So it was a net of like 22 yards, approximately, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And at that time, I didn't even have a problem with it. First of all, Stefanski is a very conservative coach, even though it goes for a lot of times on fourth down.
Pretty fucking conservative, though.
It was. And the thing was, they couldn't score worth shit. So wasted time. It went out of bounds. People said, oh, we should have went for it. We should have went for the field goal. I'm like, there's risk to all three, right? And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are three valid things they could have went. They could have went for it, which I thought would have been the stupidest thing in the world. Our running, they've actually been playing well against the run. And again, Shedeur was maybe throwing at 50%. So this idea that going for it on fourth down, I thought would have been the single dumbest thing, because I didn't even think we had 50-50 odds of going for it with,
right.
I think it was 4th and 2. So going for it was like that. Going for the field goal, I understand it. Our kicker he had a rough stretch in the very beginning of the season. He's done a lot better. But again, if it gets missed or blocked, it can change the whole dynamic of the game. So again, I thought that us punting at that time was an extremely conservative way to go. It obviously paid off. They couldn't do anything with it. Our defense has also had 10 fucking sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like if we thought that we needed to stop them, Myles Garrett would have went in the game and got, sack number 4 on the day. So sure. I look at it this way, where I thought it was, but of course you hear the conspiracies that Las Vegas called because of the over under. And it's like,
oh, what was it? Did it finish under or over?
It finished under.
It had to finish under if they didn't go for it.
Right. But the thing that always kills me is, who's the one complaining about it? Because I'm sure the people who betted the under,
the bettors.
No, they're only the ones who lost, because the ones who bet the under are like, thank God, yeah. But the only ones who complain about it are, in how it usually is in those cases, are the ones who fucking lose.
Well, yeah. But actually, so keep in mind, remember, there's been stories about death threats from fantasy owners, or sending hate mail to
even
players as fantasy
that's not even
owners.
Betting. Yeah.
Because you didn't play, or you ended up dropping a ball, or some bullshit like that. And then, of course, now with the big scandal about from the NBA side that kicked in,
and
former
also
players.
There's the pitching one. There's that whole pitch count.
Yeah, the player, MLB as well, and NFL. Like, this isn't unheard of. It's just gotten more noise now because of those situations. Because people do it all the time. People have been doing this all the time.
Now. And it's also because it's actually promoted by the leagues. I mean, think about draft.
Oh, yeah.
And all
yeah. They have partnerships.
So now it seems like, they're just in a partnership with them.
Yeah. But it's funny. So here's my thing, talking about that particular element in general. Okay. So here's why, not so much the betting. I mean, there are going to be people who complain. It's no different than when you go to chat rooms. Most people you see most chatting are the ones who are bitching about stuff. It's like reviews of businesses. It's always generally going to be people who bitch. To drag the numbers down or whatever it is. Anyway, that aside, to that game specifically that point, I mean, I didn't watch it, but my take is this. You hit it on the nose. Your defense was destroying the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders offensively suck. They are probably the worst team in the NFL right now.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, your team has a chance to go for a field goal, and you should have just done it. I don't know why Stefanski didn't. No, I don't. It makes no sense.
100% know
Statistically, it makes no sense. If your defense was playing that great, you go for either on fourth down because you know they're not going to do shit, or you go and that runs clock. It still runs clock, if that was your point. And then the other one is you go for the field goal because, you know what, let's just add points. I get that if you don't want to go for the field goal, but you should have gone for it on fourth. The fact that you did neither and punted from the 30...
It was more like...
It's stupid. That's why your coach needs to be fired.
The play could have been blocked and returned for a touchdown.
Stop. You really felt threatened that was going to happen.
Dude.
You really felt threatened that was going to happen.
100%.
What team do I root for? Liar. You're a goddamn liar.
What team do I root for?
It doesn't matter. You were playing against the worst team. Your team is bad, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while you run into a shittier team than you. That's how you guys get 2 wins every year.
It has almost zero to do with it being bad.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And karma and all that.
Stop. Then you know what? Based on your belief right there, you guys should be punting unless you get to like the 5-yard line every time in a game.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah,
dude. There's no right decision for those. Every decision we make can cause a loss. Look,
Stop.
if for whatever reason we get to the Super Bowl, if it ever happens,
Oh, that's not happening, dude. You might as well just die now. It's not happening.
We're up by 42 points in the fourth quarter. I still think we're going to lose.
Well,
100%.
you're in luck. You're never going to get to the Super Bowl.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And you'll never be up by 42.
I'm jackass is the point. See, this is why I can't even say the comment about 500 with you. You take shit way too literally. You know what I mean.
Oh, I'm not taking that literally. I'm just responding back to make sure people realize that as we all know,
everybody knows that. Anyway,
the hopes and dreams. But you know what? Interesting. You brought up the thing about
the point I'm making is that as much as you might not agree with it, it wasn't wrong. I mean, you may not think it was the right call, but it wasn't a wrong call. But again, I think the issue
point shaving. I agree with the bettors. He is point shaving.
The thing is, how do these people know where the points were or where the money was bet? Who would have really bet the over in a Raiders?
I guarantee the NFL investigated that game, by the way.
For what reason? For that reason?
For that particular reason. If it finished under and they had a chance to do the over, they have to. Whether or not it's true is irrelevant. True. The fact that it's out there, they probably looked. I'm not saying they spent like days investigating. They probably just took a quick look.
I doubt it.
I don't. I think more of this is happening than you think in the background.
Instead of punting it to be safe when you're with that defense, no, it's not.
Dude, how much were you up by? How much were you up by?
2 touchdowns. So
how much time was left? How much time was left?
So then why? No.
How much time was left?
Like a minute and a half. Like actually
stop, dude. Why do you punt unless you have no intent? Yeah, whatever. He point shaved. I agree.
No. Exactly. You just said it. No, you just said it. What's the
point? Shaved.
What's the point in going for it? What is this, college?
You went for the under. Yeah, you're right. You went for the under.
My other point is the other reason why I bring it up, just because I still think people are just fucking stupid when it comes to betting now. Like first of all, if you really think that the NFL or any of these leagues are fixed and you still bet on it, you're a fucking moron. You are dumb and you deserve to lose money. Then I actually hope they're doing it, because if you actually bet, it'd be like betting on WWE. Oh, it's fixed. No shit, really?
Well, yeah, that's
really
just dumb.
If you really think it goes to that one, and you actually be that, and you still follow the NFL knowing that it's fixed, and you bet on it, a fool in their money.
Okay, but we're talking about two different dynamics here. Because you're right. There's the ones who say
the football side of it. Look, it was conservative. I 100% agree with that.
Dude, that's unheard of. Unless the kicker's hurt. Hurt, that's unheard of. Tell me how many times that's happened in the NFL in the last 20 years.
Well, at least once with the Browns.
When a kicker wasn't hurt.
At least.
Yeah, I know. This last weekend with the Browns. Got it. Yeah, great. Outside of that, tell me one other time.
Did we win?
You were going to win.
No, it doesn't matter.
Why wouldn't you go for it on 4th down? If your point, we're not going to belabor this much longer because we could get stuck on this for a while. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, if you're telling me there's a minute and a half left, it's like 4th and 3, right? It was just over a minute. It was like 4th and 3, right?
Going for it, I thought would have been stupid. No, I'm sorry. There's no reason to go.
But my point is this: you're down by 2 touchdowns. Okay, they're down by 2 touchdowns. Your defense has 10 sacks, maybe 9 at the time before they get their 10th. I don't know.
Punt it. We can go for a second 11.
You want to run clock and end the game, right? Hand it off, right up the gut. They get stopped. Big deal. Turn the ball over. All you have to do is the clock's running.
Do you know what happened? Look, our special teams has also been shaky. You remember?
I didn't say special teams. I just said run the ball.
No, I run the ball.
Yeah, on 4th down, run it because you're going to run the clock. And if you get the first down, great. If you don't, who cares? Your defense is stopping them.
Running the ball will take 2 to 3 seconds off for a play that they're going to try to stuff, right? And it would waste more of the clock.
Not really.
3
more seconds. 3 more seconds.
It's still more of the clock.
Stop. You're trying. This is what I love most about fans, and I'm one of them too. You try to justify stupid shit all the time as a fan and say, no, that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
And here's the reason I'm countering it. Detroit and the Eagles yesterday, especially Detroit, fucking went for it like 3 times on 4th down when they could have kicked a field goal, and they didn't. Sure. And how much did they lose by?
Statistics.
Oh, well, no. Some of it.
Oh, by the way, Al Michaels fucking hates when they bring that up, by the way, in that game. When they talk about, well, statistics show us, Jesus, statistics. It's like go by gut feeling. How did that work?
They 100%. I think the Lions have lost games more this year because of those statistics than not.
Oh, Dan Campbell doesn't care. He just does by gut feeling. Literally, he does by gut
And I
feeling.
think that's the reason why I think people have gotten so used to something like they use Aubrey. Is that that's the name, right? Kicker for the Cowboys.
Oh yeah. Aubrey,
Because they act like 50 and 60
fucking
yard
awesome
field.
kicker.
He is.
Dude, 65 is like easily within his range, especially if he's in Dallas.
And yeah, in a dome.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Well,
Put him on a 70.
He's more likely to hit the fucking hanging big screen than he is to fucking do anything.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think people have gotten so, and I think my point was, and the reason why I think there's so much noise about it is because people have gotten so used to going for it on fourth down almost anywhere on the field. And also, like 50-yard field goals supposedly are the norm, when it's really not. It's just that you have an Aubrey and some other kickers who can do that. But on the average, kickers 50-yarders is still not a gimme.
Well, yeah, but you play the strength of your player. Like the Niners, when we
play the strength of the defense.
But I'm saying for the Niners, to the kicker concept, like kickers, they kick 50 or more on average because they can hit those 50.
Yeah.
Like you're picking kickers nowadays who have the leg. Now you want them to be accurate too.
No, that's the issue.
That was the challenge the Niners had with Moody. He had the leg. He just couldn't get accurate.
He kicked 55-yard plus all the time.
Easily, yeah. But he just wasn't accurate.
Or not. Yeah, but when you put him in a 30 to 40-yard range, he was probably less accurate.
Look, we're not going to agree on the outcome of the decision for the Browns, and that's fine. So let's just move on because there's no point.
No, but my point is, like, looking at those games, you see this. The swing has become so big, though, with the risk taking. I don't think it's the statistics anymore. I think it's everybody loves a Dan Campbell when last year it worked more often than not.
Yeah, they're cyclical.
But now
to your point, the league, it's a copycat league. They do it for a while and then they switch. Some coaches stick to their guns and stay their course, and that's fine. But a lot of them, especially the ones that are 500 or lower teams, are going to do anything to generate some interest and hope to God that maybe they can get. I mean, look at the Giants. They started Dart over Wilson. Yep. And statistically, Wilson was a much better quarterback than Dart's been. But they needed a change. You know, they needed a jump start for the coach to try and keep his job, which he didn't. He got fired, as he should have been anyway.
He should have been, yeah.
But
I think that was funny. But I mean, to your point, though, I think that's funny because if you heard the fan base didn't at that when Scadaboo and Dart were both on the field at the same time. I don't think the fan base. I mean, of course, they care that they were losing, but they had hope. They had
it's a young core, and they're hopeful that this will build something for the future. They're realistic. Well, no NFL diehards ever realistic about their team, but
especially if you're a losing fan base, we're not realistic.
Yeah,
we're delusional as fuck.
You are. That is very true. But
actually, all fan bases are. I mean,
they are. That's why I said. That's why I said there's always going to be delusional fans.
Did you at least watch the Eagles game?
I did. I watched a good portion of it. That's why I mentioned the Al Michaels thing about he gets tired of statistics.
Did you notice how, I don't know if it was the mic, the setting, or whatever, but you heard the fans in the stands more than you heard the announcers?
Well, they were booing all the time. Oh, you mean you could hear them talking or yelling?
It was a horrible production. I was going to also bring that up. Was Amazon has been absolutely horrific when it comes to their production value.
For sports in general, I agree. For sports in general. 100%. So I was watching the Laker game last night.
Horrific.
Horrible quality. It was just poor. And I'm not talking about the people calling it. I'm talking about the presentation. I'm talking about the signal specifically. It's just horrible.
The tech that they use. I mean, you heard the fans more than you heard the announcers most of the time.
Yeah.
And you heard it clearly. But it was just funny because I was thinking about that mainly because, first of all, because of, Philadelphia fans can be a little bit on the spoiled side. You know, they're booing their team when it's like, okay, they're going to lose 2 games in a row, and they're going to be 8-3 or 8-4 or whatever their record is.
Right.
You know, but again, I get it was to the Cowboys.
That was fantastic, by the way. Only in Philly, the team wins the Super Bowl. They're 8-3. Sure. Have they looked dominating? No. I mean, it's no different than the year after they lost the Super Bowl. The next year, they started off great, but they just didn't look like they were going to be great. And they ended up petering out towards the end and, it just crapped out. I think it's a similar trend here. they're just okay at best. But the fans booing, I'm like, dude, even if you lose, you have a 3-game lead in the NFC East right now. Even if you lose, it's still a 2-game lead. Like, there is high probability you should still win that division. Like, the Cowboys are the next closest, and that's it.
Right.
At 6-5-1.
I just double checked.
You're 2.5. I take that back, technically.
I just double checked, but Rams are the favorites. Eagles are 2.
For now, that's going to change. That's going to change.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. But again, that's like the delusion. It's your team is still a Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl favorite. I mean, even there's probably 3 or 4 teams that are Super Bowl favorites right now because there's really no team that's dominant. I think even though the Rams are playing really well and Stafford's having an amazing year, and he most likely, if he keeps on going at this rate, he's going to be MVP. So they're probably the best team in the NFL right now, but I don't think the gap is that big. I don't think that they're that dominant to where they're like the odds-on favorites. You could be the favorites, but it's not. The gap isn't going to be like huge.
True. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, obviously, but this is where I love as the season goes along. In the first 4 or 5 games, this team's the best. This is the best team in the NFL. Now 10 games in, this team's the best team in the NFL. By the time the season ends and we're in the playoffs, it may or may not be the Rams. It may or may not be the Patriots. But I'm almost certain there'll be someone else who's taken off and like, oh, they're the best team in the NFL. And they're going to be the ones that, everybody talks about. And the reality is, and of course, you can't go through a whole season and not make comments like that, or it's just a quiet season and it's boring and it doesn't generate the interest.
You got to generate interest, yeah.
Yeah, you got to generate interest. But like here's my thoughts on who's going to be in the NFC title game and the AFC title game based on where things sit right now. I'm going to say it's Rams and Bears in the NFC title game. The Rams winning, unfortunately. And then in the AFC side, I think it's definitely going to be the Colts.
Bears, huh?
For right now, they're just finding ways to win.
You don't think Seattle? You wouldn't put Seattle or Detroit or even the Packers above them?
No, the Packers to me are actually a team that is definitely helter-skelter or Jekyll and Hyde.
I don't disagree, but
they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. Like, I don't know who's going to show up each game.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the Bears.
No, I'm pretty consistent with the Bears this season, actually. They stay in the game the whole time, and then they find a way to win. But Ben Johnson's been great. Think about it. Detroit struggled since Ben Johnson left.
Yeah.
And yet he's turned around a team that probably shouldn't be where they are right now. Basically leading the division. They are the division leaders now.
You wouldn't put Seattle above them. Why would you not
put Seattle? No, I'm telling you right now, here's where I think it's going to be. Yeah, you can pick whoever you want. I'm telling you my perspective.
I know I am. I know. Jackass, I'm asking you.
No, and I'm telling you, no, I don't think. I think Seattle is good at home. On the road, they won't be.
Okay, that's fair. So if they don't have home field advantage,
if they don't get the division, which they won't against the Rams. I mean, they still could theoretically, right? Like they're 1 game behind the Rams technically, so they could. But I'm just saying, if I were just to say right now how I think things will play out, I think it'll be Rams against the Bears. And again, I'm doing what others do. I'm going to tell you what I think right now, and then I'm going to change it probably by the end of season when everything settles out.
Well, again, there's still a lot of football left in the season.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't even pick my Niners, right? Like I didn't even put my Niners up there. And could they get better? Maybe, but their defense is getting better for a completely young team that was not expected to play. Right. But that's a different story.
With the losses on defense.
Oh yeah, with all the losses.
Warner and Bosa.
And then the free agents we let go. I mean, it's a huge change. But anyway, so for the AFC, this one gets tricky. Like there are so many potentials. I actually don't think Kansas City is going to make the playoffs, by the way. I think I said it before the season started that I could see this being a down year for him, and I still stick to that. But I don't even think Baltimore will make it. I think they'll be out too.
No, I think Baltimore's. I think Baltimore's going to make it because Steelers are starting to really fade, and I think the Ravens just more by.
So I'm gonna throw this at you, and again, this is me saying it right now.
The Browns are
Bengals are going to win it. Bengals are going to win it.
They could run the table.
Because right now the Bengals are literally 2 games out of first.
I don't. I don't have
I
any
think
faith
whoever comes out of that
in-
division will either be 9-8 or 8-9.
I was surprised that Burrow came back this early, but
Yeah,
no,
so am I.
you know what, the point is, actually, you're right for once. You actually might be right. No, no, the Steelers are
kick.
falling apart. I mean, you could see part of it is, I think, the Rodgers effect.
I don't
is
know if it's
happening.
Rodgers' fault. I mean,
They're just not. They're just.
it's the Steelers. It's just what it is.
I don't like the Steelers, but I really thought that them going for Rodgers, I thought was very short-sighted.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
I think at a certain point, teams need to retool. I think no matter how good of a stretch you've had, and they've had an amazing stretch, as much as I hate to say it, but they needed to have a down year. They needed to allow themselves to have a down year so they can have the higher draft picks and everything.
No team allows themselves to have a down year unless you're complete shit or Cleveland.
Well, no. What I mean allow is understand that going after a Rodgers and kind of trying to plug him in to have one last playoff run, I thought. I
without
didn't
any
really
future plan, I agree. Like they didn't have a player in waiting, so to speak, right? Like they didn't draft a quarterback for the future. They're just playing for the now, which was no different than the Jets were.
Right.
Right.
No, I understand. Yeah, but the Jets are the Jets. They're like the Browns, and then
although the Jets been to a Super Bowl, Super Bowl III.
How old was I?
57 years ago. You weren't even alive, dude.
Well, I wasn't even alive yet. Exactly. Yeah. But and then the Ravens, I just don't know about. The Ravens, they're definitely like how the Chiefs are, but there's something definitely missing with them. There's definitely either internal issues or whatever.
I'm just surprised that both the Ravens and the Steelers defense has been such shit.
So bad.
This year.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the bigger
Ravens
surprise.
Has really improved, though. I mean, if you look at the difference,
yeah, they've improved, but they're still shit.
They're still not where you think that they should have been.
But anyway, they're lower 20, right? So
with time left, I mean, with AFC, I think it's for me it would be Colts and New England, and even then, I still don't think that they're that strong.
Who?
I think you're just kind of both of those teams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
don't think that they're like those ones where you're like. I'm not saying that definitively, like you said. I think next week it can completely change. With it, I think Drake May's been playing really well. I mean, when we played them, they look good. But again, if you looked at them as an individual, like in years past, like I wouldn't say that they would have been in the race. But I don't think either one of those teams you would say were contenders based upon where they're at. AFC just seems very diluted. Not diluted is the word I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Not delusional, but more like watered down.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
it's very watered down.
They're just above average. Like there's teams like the Browns and the Raiders and things like that, but there's like a grouping of top teams in the AFC.
Right.
Where the Chiefs are still there. Like you said, the Chiefs could go to the Super Bowl. But I think that whatever NFC team gets there, no, I'm just saying they could just because of.
To be honest with you, any team could get to the Super Bowl if they had a good run. For those that are actually within realistic range of making the playoffs.
Exactly. I think there's a few teams, but I think the AFC is, you don't know who can make it. I mean, I think like if you had brackets, I mean, it'll be more about the matchups than it will be, this team can make a run. It's like, well, you're playing this is your first week. This is who you might play your second week. This is kind of, if you see this scenario play out, you can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's more probably about matchups than it is because they're a dominant team.
True.
But,
well, and real quick to your AFC point, my thinking was also the Colts against the Bills.
I don't know what's going on with the Bills.
I really feel like the Bills somehow, because they don't look like they should be going, will make it to the Super Bowl.
So almost like how Kansas City was last year.
Like they're still figuring themselves out, and then they'll suddenly figure it out in time for the playoffs, and then they'll actually deliver what they're supposed to.
Need? I mean, do you agree with their coaches holding them back? There's a lot of that.
I mean, after a certain point, you got to believe that. Like his philosophy isn't working. It's as simple as that. It's the same in basketball. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson, people always said, "Oh, he had great players." Yeah, but he came into teams that had those great players, and he knew how to, maximize their skill level. To your point,
a million coaches that, or not a million, but you know what I mean. It's hyperbole, but it's how many coaches come into those perfect situations and fail miserably?
Yeah.
And again, let's just be honest. You're not replacing Josh Allen. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's a top 10 quarterback, you don't replace them.
Right.
You replace the coach and hopefully elevate that quarterback. So yeah,
Yeah. At
you
some
can say
point, a
whatever.
different voice, different tactics matter. So
Yeah. So yeah, they're not replacing Josh Allen. Which
What about your
people
NFC?
start saying.
What do you got for NFC?
I still think the Eagles. Honestly,
Really?
I
You
still
see
think
something in them?
because I think it's just I think the NFC is weird because I think with the Eagles, I think Seattle really could make a run just because of how their offense is playing. I think it's going to be matchups, but for some reason, I think it's just one of those things. Eagles or Lions, for that matter, if things just kind of start leaning their way, they'll start winning every game. In my opinion, they're that team that they're both of those teams that rely on good fortune as much as they do good play. And I think if breaks start happening for both of those teams that just going the right way, it's not like their records are bad or anything. It's not like they're losing a bunch of games or anything. But I think that they would be. It's just this season has been a weird season. There's like not one team, even the teams like seeing what Seattle is scoring. Do you ever really think that they're like the odds-on favorite to win? I think Seattle is probably the one team that can make a serious run, though. But I can see Seattle and the Eagles in the NFC, just because I think. But again, it always comes down to whenever it comes to playoffs, it's defenses, right? And as good as Seattle's offense has been, we know what can happen to a team in the playoffs when they go against a good defense. But
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's going to change next week.
Well, yeah, by end of season, we would have a different opinion.
In 2 weeks, it's going to be a totally different opinion.
It's very true.
Another injury.
It's funny. The Cowboys beat the two Super Bowl teams in back-to-back weeks, the Eagles and Chiefs.
Yeah,
and so now people are like, oh, maybe they're doing. Look, first off, even if the Cowboys win every game going out and make the playoffs and win the division, they still won't get to the Super Bowl. And you want to know why? Jerry Jones. It's as simple as that.
He'll fuck something up somehow.
Getting the skill players to be competitive is one thing. Getting them to actually be able to pull it off and win requires certain. Now, Brian Schottenheimer has done better than I anticipated, actually.
Yeah, same.
So I'll give him respect for that. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a tough year right now. Looking at it, there are a lot of teams that. To your point, like if things start turning the other way for like the Eagles or Lions, or they start getting those like ones that the close calls that they're just missing.
Yeah.
I think about that when you mentioned that, it popped in my head. I'm like, a lot of times when I've watched the seasons progress, those teams that tend to always miss those don't get those, little bounces or whatever. Mm-hmm. It never changes. That's just their season. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see. Yeah, it should be interesting. The Seahawks are definitely a wild card in the sense of offensively, they can take off, but they've had 2 or 3 games where they put up 30 in the first half.
Yeah.
So they can score, but can they stop teams? And right now their defense is one of the better defenses. So in reality, they should be ahead of the Rams. They should be the top team in the NFC just based on eye test, but we'll see. Yeah, so I mean, we'll find out over the next few weeks. But hey, we appreciate everybody who's been listening today. I hope you enjoyed our start with Thanksgiving, kind of turned into football. But hey, that's just how it works here.
Yeah, we're random.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed chatting it up. So if you have any thoughts, comments, always feel free to send them along. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, as well as follow us on all the major streaming platforms for podcasts. We're on everywhere, iHeartRadio and so forth. We hope everybody enjoyed it. Everybody have a great week, and we'll be back next week with more excitement.
More excitement. We'll be totally excited.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyway, take care.
All right. See ya.